So today we're going to talk about self-worth. I think everybody's going to enjoy this class, and hopefully we'll bring some much needed. Let me turn my phone off too before we get going. Is somebody from the Netherlands calling me? That's a long ways off, isn't it? But anyway, I'm hoping this class will give y'all some tools to help with your clearings and stuff when you're working on yourself. And give you hope that, during these rough times that all of us are going through right now, it will subside and get better as we're doing all this clearing, to come into our true selves, our authentic selves, and understand that that's what's really happening to us right now is we're becoming our true selves and learning how to become the hollow bone for Creator so he can work through us. So we'll start off with the prayer and we'll get started this morning. Creator of all that is, thank you for this wonderful day and for our group. Bless each and every one that is in this group and the ones that listen. Inspire them, give them creation, give them creative ideals, give them movement in their patterns to clear the old patterns off and receive the new ones that are coming in. Bless each and every one of us on this planet to receive all your goodness. Heal everybody that is hurting. Open up everybody's eyes and open up their ears so that they may hear what they need to become their original authentic self. We thank you for all of this. I hope.
Play the song.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for meeting me. I like this guy. He keeps texting me.
Oh, what's he saying?
It's like saying like disrespectful things and like acting up again.
Is it the same guy he did before?
Yeah, he's like being like really rude and like I hope he like knows how mean he's being.
You're going through so much right now, Lily. You don't need this.
Yeah. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah, I'm here for you. I'm here if you need to talk.
Yeah, I know.
I've had panic attacks and been called many names. Words can cut like a knife, they run deep in my veins. Don't let them ruin your life, cause there's so much ahead. What they say isn't truthful, you just don't know it yet. You are worthy.
Feeling of anxiety is what you're gonna find in me, surrounded by the hopelessness of society. Is it just a nightmare? I wish it could be all a dream. Suffocating by the voices that call me weak.
I know that you are drowning, but I won't let you sink. I've been where you are now, just try to swim. Breathe in, I can tell that you're hurting. I just wanna let you know that you are worthy. If you look a little closer, there's medicine in your life. You are worthy. When you get a little older, everything will be alright. There is so much life can give. The only way to find out is to live and know your heart. And maybe worry, just carry on, cause you are worthy. I feel like I'm lost and I don't know why I feel this hurt. I've had many thoughts and I tried one time to leave this earth. Do you know
tug of war, the battle of my choices. Silent screams fill my head where the noise is. The drama, it feeds me with poison. I'm grateful for my life and it's hard to enjoy it.
Don't listen to those voices, just follow yourself. We can find a way through and use your knowledge to help. The light will glow and inspire your journey. I just wanna let you know that you are worthy.
If you look a little closer, there's medicine in your life. You are worthy. When you get a little older, everything will be alright. There is so much life can give. The only way to find out is to live and know your heart. And maybe worry, just carry on, 'cause you are worthy.
Once wasn't happy, I was scared of the loud. The darkness fell on my weakness and was eating my soul. But I knew how I felt in the sunlight in the distance. The tunnel seemed empty, but inside me was spirit.
The work could bully you to death. It'll strip you till you fall and make you feel like you're to blame, but it's really not your fault. Be aware that no matter what they say, you are beautiful. Haters always hate, that's business as usual.
You gotta love yourself, stay laughing and growing, so you can reminisce on your happiest moments. That's value in your life, every day you keep earning. I just wanna let you know that you are worthy.
If you look a little closer, there's medicine in your life. You are worthy. When you get a little older, everything will be alright. There is so much life can give. The only way to find out is to live and know your heart. And maybe worry, just carry on, 'cause you are worthy. You are worthy. If you look a little closer, there's medicine in your life. You are worthy. When you get a little older, everything will be alright. There is so much life can give. The only way to find out is to live and know your heart. And maybe worry, just carry on, 'cause you are worthy.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charlene.
All right, that song really touched my heart when I found it on YouTube because it's showing that, you know, these lessons that we are doing in our own class right here are also being done everywhere else on the earth in their own way, but it's getting to the kids. And that's what we want. We want the third generation, the children, to understand these things. And that song shows that it is getting to the third generation, the kids. And they're learning at a younger age other than our age, you know. And that right there should give us so much hope in what we're doing and why we are working so hard on ourselves to clear and heal so that we can bring forth that in the communities where we live at. That's where you start at, you know, you start at yourself first and then you take it into your communities and start teaching those babies. Because guess what? We're at our age and we know our feelings of hurt, rejection, abandonment, feeling unloved, being abused, being bullied. They're in a younger body, but they're having the same feelings. So age really doesn't matter. You know, it happens to all of us. And when you can take all the labels off of it and just see the problem, you know, and know that, hey, this is how we can address this, it's going to fix it a lot quicker and a lot easier. And the children are going to listen and understand, you know, because they have the same feelings we do. It doesn't matter if they're 1 year old. They are a spiritual being in that human body, having those emotions. And that is what we have as an elder, as a grandmother, as a grandfather. If we have the knowledge to help them get through those points in their lives when they're down and feeling alone, we need to share it, because the world's going to become a better place. And the sacred hoop is healing. It's a slow process, but it is healing. And I liked at the very end of the song, them placing the stone in the medicine wheel circle of the colors, because most of y'all know my story, my daddy. And I thought it was funny too, because there was a train in the video, and trains are very strong representation for me, for my father. But then he gave me the stone to carry around for all my life that he called the stone of balance. So here they place that stone right in the center. We are the stone. Hey, I understand we're the stones, and we're supposed to stand in the center and understand and be able to go through each color of that wheel. And that wheel represents many things. It represents the colors. It represents spring, summer, winter, fall. If you look into it. Good morning, Julie. It's so nice to see you today. We have missed you in the class.
Thank you. Good morning. My schedule has changed quite a bit. I've been so busy, but today I have some free time, so here I am.
Well, we're so glad to see you. We're glad to have you here. So back to what I was saying, each one of us plays this part, and I hope that that song touched some of y'all in certain ways too, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to unite back together and bring the knowledge back to the children. It's so much needed, but it's such a nice feeling of hopefulness to see a video coming out like that children are singing about being worthy. Because see, being worthy was taken away from us. Each one of us, if you think about it, has struggled some which way with our self-esteem and being worthy, because it was taught to us like that. It was that brainwashing, the competition and stuff. So that's what the class is about today, worthiness. So I want y'all to really think about what self-esteem is. Self-esteem is what we think and feel and believe about ourselves. Okay, but where does this belief of ourselves come from? If you've really not sit with yourself and become quiet, most of the beliefs were taught to you through your parents, through school. And so you really need to look to see, is that really what you believe? You're going to find out, which most of us have through some of the clearings, that some of the stuff that was taught to us was a lie. But we believed it. We don't know more. But that's taking the layers off of energy that was placed on us so that we couldn't be our authentic self. And what is self-worth? Your self-worth is recognizing that you are greater than all the things that people say about you. You are greater than the way you feel. Like I told y'all, I feel last night, and my whole body is like aching this morning. But it's really true. I am greater than the way I feel this morning. Because if you think about it, when you're hurting, do you think the pain's always going to be there? If you think the pain's always going to be there, it will be there because you created that. But always know that energy moves. It never stands still. So if you start believing that, you will realize in that belief, it gives you hope that things can change, things can get better. But without it, even your self-esteem and self-worth cannot shine, because that's your light. Your self-worth is your light of Creator. It's a deep knowing that you are valued. And look, it's not about other people valuing you. You have to value yourself. And that's a hard lesson when you come up in life in abuse and stuff like that, because all of that is stripped away from you. So you have to learn, like the song says, you are worthy. Nobody really can take that away from you, but it gets hid in you until you find it again. So you have to realize what your value is. You have to realize that you're lovable. Okay. And you have to realize that you're important. Each one of us plays a very, very important part in this place and time right now. And if one of us goes missing, it's going to cause an effect. So it's very important to wake up and go, I play an important part in what's going on. And start, if it's just working on yourself to set yourself free, do that. Because that might be the point where you're supposed to be, to help everybody. Because they say if you heal yourself, you heal 7 generations forward, 7 generations back. I have known that it can go further than that, depending on what you do. You can go like 34 generations, 54 generations, and Spirit will let you know when that happens. But it all comes down to, how you value yourself. And it's not about going after, oh, look what I've done kind of stuff either. Because when you do this and you start healing and breaking those patterns off of the generational side of it, sometimes you won't even know you're doing it until after you have done it. And then Spirit will show you what you did and you'll go, oh. And it just gives you more hope to work on yourself, because if you can do that, it's amazing, And did anybody teach you to do that? And you can say, no, I did that because inside myself, this is what I wanted to do. And when I did it, this was the outcome. So what is that? That's your self-worth. That's what you did. And it is an achievement, but it wasn't done to be looked at as, ooh, look what I have done type of thing. So there is a fine line. It's that balance that you have to learn. And you will learn, okay, what incomprehensible worth is. And as I was writing this, I'm going to share with you, as I was writing this word yesterday, now when I was young, a lot of y'all don't know this, I've never shared this. I had, back in the 60s, a very bad head concussion trauma. Okay, and that was back in the 60s. They didn't even know what trauma to the head was. They didn't have the things like they do now that they could scan your head and everything. But for like 3 years, I couldn't even talk. That's how bad I hit my head, and I had to relearn how to talk and everything. So part of my conditioning was, I was told, you can't do that. Like I couldn't play sports. I couldn't do things because I was hurt, So in my own self-esteem, I was told I couldn't accomplish anything like that. So it was brainwashed in me that I was a loser. I was never going to be a winner. And I grew up that way, thinking that, I'm different. I'm not like anybody else. But when I wrote this word yesterday, as soon as I got it wrote down, I heard my stepmother's voice in my head going, do you see what she just said out of her mouth? She's not supposed to be able to say that word. Look at her. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh my goodness. And it was something that was done to me, to prevent me. Well, it prevented me from achieving things because it was put on me that because of my head condition, I wouldn't be able to do it. So you shouldn't try it at all because you won't fail at it. So when I was writing that, it was just very interesting that right behind that word was worth. So incomprehensible worth. And I want y'all to really, write down on a piece of paper to ask yourself after this class, what is your and I'm gonna ask you next week what you came up with. This is homework. This really is, I give you homework all the time and we don't never go back to it. But we will go back to this next week because I want to see what y'all came up with, what your spirit showed you. Self-worth is at the core of your very selves, and it's the core of your thoughts, your feelings, and sometimes your behaviors. And your behavior will imitate and show how you really view your worthiness and how you value yourself as a human. And and what you allow. This is where you put priorities and boundary lines. And if you weren't taught that as a child to do that, then you have to start learning it as an adult. It's okay to set boundaries, to respect yourself and not let others step over that boundary. But the boundaries are actually for you, not for anybody else. And if you allow your own self to step over that boundary, then what have you done? You've lost your self-worth, or you gave that away to somebody, by your behavior. So it's quite interesting when you start learning these things. There are 4 elements of self-worth. And remember when I first started these classes, I told you the medicine wheel, is split into 4 sections. It's very important to understand that a lot of the lessons that we go through, because it's connected to everything, there's always 4 parts to it. There could be 16 parts, but it's in a motion that fits together. It all clicks together as it's turning, as the world turns, they say. But there's 4 elements to your self-worth. And the very first one is ability. The second one is your effort. The third one is performance. And then, of course, the fourth one is how you feel about yourself, your self-worth, what you think about yourself. And we've been taught that competing with others, I said this at the very first of our classes when we started about competition. But competing with others can help us feel like we have.
So, how, when? Can you repeat those?
Yes, I can. The very first one is ability. The second one is effort. The third one is performance. And then the fourth one is your self-worth, how you see your self-worth, not how somebody else sees it, but how you see it. And back to what I was saying, we've been taught to compete, with others, and that helps us feel like we have impressible achievements. We're the winner. We've achieved this. And because we've won, it makes you feel proud. It gives you that proud feeling of yourself, and it enhances your feeling of acceptance, you know, with yourself and others. But I want to tell you, that's a lie. I want y'all to really look at that, because that's not true. That is not how self-worth is. But that's what was given to us as the way to look at self-worth. But it's a lie. So you need to remove it, you know, because you don't have to compete for your self-worth. There's no competition in there. You don't have to win your self-worth. That's your birthright. It's already placed in you. You've had it from the day you took your first breath. You just have to nurture it and bring it to good health. So you don't have to compete or win in the performance to feel worthy. You don't. Being a winner or a loser, like I said, is a lie. There's no such thing. But it's been labeled that. But that's a form of to keep us down, so we cannot rise up and be our true full self. Your self-worth is determined by your own self, not by others. And it's determined determined on how your abilities, on how others see you. Okay, this has been taught to us too. No, that's not right either. But that's what we've been taught, is what places value on our self-worth. Okay, is how other people perceive you. We've been taught that, to compare ourselves. And guess what happens when we compare ourselves? Each one of us have tried that. So yes, thank you, Sherry. Each one of us have you know, been taught, like I said, to compare, and we have to be this way or that way. That's all a lie. It's like I told you, we each bring something very special to the circle that we're in. Because each one of us is special, and we have special things to bring and present to other people. Here are 5 ways to compare your self-worth to others. Okay, I thought this was very important, because this is what we've been taught. You know, the very first thing is how you look, your appearance. You know, there's this old saying, you know, that the mothers used to do to their children, is don't never leave the house without putting on clean underwear. How many of y'all ever heard that? Okay, all these sayings that your mother said to you, you know, this was part of the coaching of your appearance. Does it mean you're supposed to go, you know, look like a bum? Well, no, but your self-worth in your own self is going to bring you up in the way you look. Okay, and you're going to be okay with that. Where and when you can reach that part, and this is what's important about teaching it to the kids right now. Okay, because there's a lot of us that don't have the money to go out and buy the $200 tennis shoes so you can look good at school with the other kids. Okay, and guess what that's created? That's where the bullying started. You know, but if the children know their own self-worth, okay, they'll be able to teach it to those bullies. And then the bullying will stop. Because if it doesn't bother you because you take that away and you know the truth about it, the upset about it, you know, not being good enough, oh, we're poor. Look at we can't fit in with the good kids because we are poor. It's all brainwashed into us, though, and that's all the stuff we have to clear out. That is not your self-worth at all. Okay, the next thing I kind of went into, number 2 is your net worth. How much money do you have? What can you spend your money on? Okay, number 3 is who do you know? Who's in your social group? You know, and we all grew up like that, you know. There was always cliques in high school. After high school, there's still cliques. And if you look at the politicians, you can see all the cliques. You know, you have to who's in the most important group in society. So I want y'all to really think about that. We're in a very special group. You know, so think about that. There's going to be a lot more groups like this come up too, because people are working on learning how to understand the language that's coming through our bodies. And that's what it is. It's the language. You remember, you have to learn how to speak the language and understand the language that is coming through you. Number 4 is what is your career? What do you do for a living? And how many times have you been judged by somebody else because of what you did for a living? You know? And the 5th one is your achievements. And I think I was talking to Rodney about this the other day. You know, some people won't even talk to you if they know that you haven't achieved certain things. And Rodney and me were talking the other day about job, you know, and getting certificates and stuff like that, which you have to have sometimes in your job. And then you have to post them on the wall. Well, I have always told people that's my ego wall. That's what the government and everything, I have to have this ego wall to show you what I do. You know, and if you walk into anybody's office, you're going to see that on the thing because we have to have it there. But is that really your true self? Think really hard about that, because that's a good example right there. One of the things I'm doing in this class today is I'm trying to show the misunderstanding and the misperceptions about self-worth that we've been taught. Okay, and these things don't determine your self-worth. Nothing that we just talked about. The appearance, the net. You know, all 5 of those things don't determine your self-worth. Your achievements, this is what they do for you. They make you feel great. They make you feel wonderful, and you can cross that off your to-do list. But it doesn't have a direct relationship with your worth as a human being at all. Your job, it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you do it well and it fulfills you. That's the difference in that one. Okay, another one, and we all do this. Social media. Following somebody. Okay, tweets and likes. When you get somebody to like your post, how does it make you feel? It makes you feel good. Somebody's watching what I'm posting. Okay. But their opinion should not have no impact on your true value. But most of us, you know, get depressed if somebody doesn't like our post. That's because we've been brainwashed to that our value is that somebody has to like our post. That's not true. So I want you to look at that very, very hard too, because I fell in that. And I'm sure everybody else did. You know, but that is not your self-worth. But it can make you feel really bad if you allow it to, because nobody liked your post. Or let's just say nobody wished you a happy birthday on your birthday because it says it's your birthday up there on social media. So really pull your thoughts back and straighten them up if you're, if you're feeling like that with your social media. It is there now to help you. If you're trying to build a job, or make contacts with people so that you can get information out. I'm not saying the internet's bad, because there is good ways to use the internet, but also, look at yourself and make sure it's not messing up in your self-worth. The things that you were doing with the internet or looking at. Okay, your age doesn't factor into your self-value at all, as a human being. And how many of you at our age have got, oh, I'm getting old, oh, look at all these wrinkles I have. And the very first thing you think of is, oh my goodness, what is people going to think? Oh, my hair, I need to fix it because it's sticking out. We've been trained all this, that something's wrong with us. There's not anything wrong with you. You are a very special person that God put here on earth, and you need to shine that light, whether you got a piece of hair sticking up or not, your relationship status with anybody, okay, that does not matter with your self-worth. Now, what really truly matters is, are you having a relationship with yourself? Okay, I want you, that's homework too, so please put that by that, because I want to hear the answer to that next week. Because that's very important. Are you really truly having a relationship with yourself? It's really hard to have relationships if you haven't been taught how to have one. But we're learning, right? We're learning how to have that relationship. Okay, again, money. How much money you have, or how the lack of money, good taste or bad taste with your, this is talking about your appearance. Some people go, oh, that I would never wear that outfit. This is not your worth at all. It's the same thing. But we've been taught it is. It's not. You need to clear all that out of your mind. Put it in the garbage can, go delete. You don't need that anymore. And to really get to the heart of the matter, you are the only one who determines your self-worth. That's very, very important to understand. You are the only one that can determine your self-worth. This is your birthright, okay? So I want you to go back and take a look at the list that we made, okay? And remember, you are worthy of all those things. You need to learn to love yourself, and then you'll be able to love and understand others. That's a very big responsibility that was placed upon us when we were born. And that is a responsibility, and our parents didn't tell us that. They didn't give us a book. Like we said, we don't come with a rule book. That's why we're sitting here learning today. But what we're doing is we're making it easier for the younger generation, because they're picking it up a lot quicker than we did. And that's what we want. We want to start teaching the babies when they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, before they start going to school. They should be in school at home learning these things. And remember, no matter what happens on the outside, no matter what is taken from you, it does not affect you internally unless you choose to. You have the power to turn that switch that's inside you. Okay, nobody else can choose that. That is your self-worth switch. So if somebody turned it off, turn it back on. You know, and learn that you are worthy. You're worthy to be here. You're worthy to everything you do, to taking your breath, walking down the street, waving at your neighbor. You know, nobody can take that away from you. The only person that can take it away from you is yourself with the thoughts that have been brainwashed into you. So take that trash out, get it out. Time to take the trash out and bring in some good food, nourishment to feed off of and think about. And put that on your shelves in your brain. Because, you know, we have a big old bookshelf up there full of stuff. You know, we're doing some spring cleaning today. We're going to take the trash out. Okay, so this will help you. These are some affirmations that will help you, you know, bring in your self-worth. So the first one is, I accept the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, you know, I've talked about this in other classes. You do have to come to terms with your skeletons in your closet, you know, and there could be some really bad ones. But you have to come to terms and accept, hey, this is what happened back then, but this is not who I am today. And see, it all goes with this worthiness, your self-esteem. And if you go back to that list, that very first list on appearance, network, your social circle, your career, your achievements, and you go down that list, when you're looking at the good, the bad, the uglies, okay, of yourself, if it falls on that list and it was somebody else looking at you and going, oh, they didn't like me, because you need to throw that away. You need to chunk it in the garbage, you know, and then you need to ask yourself, well, how did it make me feel? And then go fix that in yourself. Yeah, and tell yourself, hey, I love you. You're safe. It's okay. That was in the past, but we're throwing this away because we're putting some new stuff up there, you know, and you're gonna feel so much better when this takes place. Number two is fully accepting every part of yourself, including the good and the bad and the uglies, the flaws, your fears, your behaviors, your qualities that you might not be too proud of. All of us have that. We're human. Each and every single one of us. Okay, number three is to own. You know, and I said this in the first class, there's no type of ownership, but this one is really, I guess I shouldn't say own as the word, but if you say I am, and I am at peace with all of this, I am worthy of all things. That's going to relight that light inside you. It's also going to bring up the things. It will bring up the things that aren't supposed to be there anymore, and you will clear it. You'll start feeling your value, and you'll start seeing and feeling how special you are. One of the biggest things that I realized about myself, about special, because I was like, I'm not special. Well, you know, that was trained into me as a young child, that I wasn't special. I couldn't do all these things. I had hurt my head. You know, I wasn't going to amount to nothing because I had brain injury. So when I got to this part about how you feel valued and how you feel special, and I looked at that, and you know what my specialty is? I found out my specialty is that it's okay that I had a brain injury. I still achieved many things that they thought I could not do. And they made me very stubborn too, because I as a child, because they told me I couldn't do it, I would do it. So it gave me determination, and one of the biggest things, that I thought about when I was writing this, of how special I was, I mean, what I did for myself back then, is my brother learned how to ride a unicycle. Okay. And I wanted to learn how to ride that unicycle. Of course, I couldn't because, I had a brain injury. I couldn't do things like that. So while they were away, and I had no idea where they were at, no, but every time they were gone from the house and I was there, I would sneak that unicycle out because I was stubborn. Like I said, I was very stubborn. And I would get on it and try to ride it. Did I fall down? Of course I did. Did I hurt myself? Of course I did. Did I tell them? No, I didn't, because I knew I'd get in trouble. Well, I did get in trouble because guess what happened? I fell so many times that every time the seat fell and hit the ground, it'd make a crack in the leather of the seat. And eventually there was a big hole in the seat of it. And of course, my oldest brother knew he didn't do it because he knew how to ride it, and when he fell, he didn't ever fall, so somebody had been messing with his stuff. But guess what? I learned how to ride that unicycle, and I probably could still get on a unicycle today and ride it. And I learned how to go up the curbs, go down the curbs and stay on it. So, as I was writing this, to me, that's special. That's a special achievement that I did myself. Nobody else did it for me. Okay, and that's what I'm, want y'all to really look at yourself. What did you do for yourself? What did you give yourself that nobody else could give you? At that time, and I think I possibly could have been 7 or 8 years old at that time. Okay. But when I achieved riding the unicycle, it gave me hope within inside myself that I wasn't a loser, like they were telling me I was. Of course, I couldn't shout it to the world, because I'd get in trouble because I was doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing, so I kept it all secret. It was all hid away. But I thought about that. And for a long time in my whole life, I hid all my abilities. I hid my abilities, away because I was taught to do that. Not really, it had become a habit, so I'm not hiding those abilities anymore. And that's my specialty. That's who I am, and I'm okay with that. I love myself wholeheartedly for all the experiences that I've had, for all the trials and tribulations I went through, and I am worthy and I am a capable person. And these are some of the things, that was number 5 and number 6 on what I love myself wholeheartedly. Okay, and number 6 is I am worthy and a capable person. And when you start telling yourself that and start seeing the things that you have done in your past, it is going to bring up the value of yourself. And you're going to feel it. And when you feel that, understand that's what value feels like, so that you can hold on to that feeling within you. Okay. And here's some more ways to recognize your self-worth. We're going to start over again. Number 1, you no longer need to please other people. Okay, do not please other people. That is not your self-worth. It will lead you to gray hairs, I tell you that. You'll have many gray hairs because you're trying to make other people happy. Because you think that's what fulfills you. But instead, it does just the opposite. It does give you gray hairs and it does make you very unhappy. And I think each one of us has experienced that, you know, learning how to recognize our self-worth. Number two, no matter what a person does or says that happens outside of you, only you alone can control how it makes you feel. You have that switch inside of you, your self-worth. And usually that switch gets triggered, okay, due to your conditionings as a child. And you have to learn that when you feel that switch go to that, you have to switch it back on. And eventually you won't have to switch it back on. It'll stay open. And that's when you can start building your roots really strong in your worth and your self-esteem. Number three is to understand that you have the power to respond to events and circumstances based upon the way you feel inside. Okay? And sometimes you'll respond without thinking, you know, because that happens, and it happens to all of us. And then you'll sit back and go, oh my goodness, did I just do that? Yes, Robbie, I see you're smiling. Would you like to share what happened? You don't have to, but I mean, if you'd like to share, it would go along really good with what we're teaching today.
I guess.
But if it puts you on the spot, you don't have to.
I was working yesterday and my helper abandoned his shift. And I went and found him and he got all belligerent at me. And I said, you won't be doing this again. And then he came back and he got really belligerent. And he threw a coffee in my face and we had a fist fight. And because it was immediate.
It was an immediate response. And sometimes that happens.
Yeah, you stepped over those boundaries. And, you know, it's like, so that was yesterday.
Yes, thank you. So see, your body can respond to a lot of things, okay? And that goes back to your good, your bad, your uglies, you know, that we talked about that you have to look at. Now, was there a better way to respond to that? If you could have stopped in the moment, but that was hot coffee that he threw on you, you know, so your body's going to respond to that. Okay, and sometimes you can't alter that because your body is going to respond because it puts you in, you know, self-flight mode. Somebody's attacking me, you know, and automatically you're going to do that. But usually when things take place, not to that extreme, you can switch your reaction to how you respond to it, and it'll bring a different reaction around. And when you start doing that will show you your true authentic self and your value within inside yourself. And know, Robbie, that it was okay how you responded. There was nothing wrong with it. I think each and every single one of us would have responded like that. But the more balanced you get with inside yourself, you won't respond like that because you know your self-worth. You'll know your self-worth and you'll know where that other person is that threw that coffee. You know, so it'll bring up compassion, unconditional love. I'm not saying we're never supposed to fight. Don't get me wrong on what I'm saying. I learned this a long time ago because of my mom, because she made me watch the Billy Jack movies. And you know, my daddy was in the Billy Jack movies. So there's a part in one of the Billy Jack movies when he was in a vision with his spirit guide. And there was three things that was being taught to him in the vision. And it was the 3 levels of worthiness and how to achieve your true value of yourself. And I want y'all with, if y'all can get the movie, you should watch it. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because it's an eye-opening experience of the levels of understanding that you have to go through to get to that place where you can honor your true value when somebody's hitting you, when somebody's cussing you out, and it not cause you to react. Like, what do you think the Dalai Lama would do? Or a monk? You know, they've conditioned themselves and their self-worth, you know, that they would not respond like that. They'd probably say a prayer for that person, you know, or they might even turn the other cheek. But it is how you value yourself, and you will have to protect yourself. This isn't about not protecting, you know, but know that true value of yourself, because that's going to help change a lot of people too. I mean, imagine what if a person was angry at you and come up and slapped you and you didn't respond. Do you think that person would get angry at you because you didn't respond?
Can you share the name of that movie? Excuse me, just for a second.
Billy Jack.
Billy Jack. Okay, thank you.
I think it was the first one. There's 3 of them, but it was the Billy Jack movie. So it wasn't the Born Loser. So I think it was the very first Billy Jack movie. So your value comes from inside yourself, and it's from how you eternally measure up and what you have set for yourself as a value. So if you have trash in there, you need to take it out and replace it, you know, with your true authentic feelings. Because there's a lot of garbage that was put in there, you know, that doesn't really need to be there anymore. This is your birthright, okay? And it's your power, so don't give it away. A lot of us have gave it away for eons, not knowing that we were giving away our self-worth, our power, our self-esteem to others, just to fit in. That's what I did, just so I could fit in. You don't have to give it away. You know, so don't. So another thing, number 1, take full responsibility for everything that happens to you without giving your personal power or self-worth away. That is so important. And we do play, each one of us plays a part in everything. So if you recognize the part you played, if you did something wrong, fix it. If you didn't do anything wrong, then nurture yourself. Don't expect the other person to fix it. Nurture yourself to heal yourself, because that is your medicine. And that is very great medicine to have. Number 2 is acknowledge that you have the personal power to change and influence the events and circumstances of your life, because you do. You can change anything. If you're unhappy with something, change it. You don't have to stay unhappy. That is a choice that you are either putting blame on somebody else about, when you can actually change it because it's in your thought process, not theirs. You hold the power in your life. You hold your self-worth. It has never went away. It's always been there. But people try to take it away. You might have gave it away, but it's still there. Relight it. Stand in it. You know, that's the root of your trunk of your tree that we talk about when we're standing up out of the water, your self-worth is the very first circle of the tree that's in the tree, of the trunk of the tree. So you don't put your roots down, right? By coming through all the classes and learning how to balance yourself and learning about the male and female aspects. Okay, and so your roots have been started to be put down. Now you're putting the tree trunk down. Okay, or you're cleaning out the trash that was inside the trunk of the tree, and you're filling it with the right stuff, you know, which we all have to do, so that you can stand tall and strong and learn how to bend with the wind, right? Just remember, you hold the power. And guess what? Because you hold the power, you have to maintain it. Okay, so you're gonna have to learn how to maintain that. And how do you maintain it? You must first love yourself. It's the self-love. It's having a relationship with yourself. And that's so important. You know, if you don't have a relationship with yourself, how do you expect to have a relationship with anybody else? It's very, very hard. We've all tried it. We've all done it. You need to write this down and remember this, because it's very important. I am not, okay, like anyone else. I don't pretend to be. I don't want to be. Why? Because I am me. That is my new saying. I have it posted on my mirror so I can look at it every day. I also have it posted on my refrigerator because, you know, we all go to the refrigerator a lot of times to see what's in there. And how funny is it? How many times do you look in the refrigerator knowing that it's not there, but you look to make sure? How many times you do that? You know, that's how easy it is to influence your own self. Okay. So while you're looking in that refrigerator for that thing that's not there, you read, I am not like everyone else. I don't pretend to be. I don't want to be, because I am me. And that's the end of the lesson. And I hope that has helped give y'all some tools and directions on how to see your self-worth and see and feel it. Because once you start feeling it, it's going to rise up in you. And guess what? You're not going to give it to anybody. You're going to go, ah, I found it. Oh my goodness. It was lost, but now it's found. And once you really, truly feel it, you're going to really start working on truly loving yourself. And major, major changes are going to come. I mean, Pam, you know, I'm sorry to use you, but you're such the example of this, okay? Because when Pam found her self-worth, she took off. She didn't walk, she didn't crawl, she took off running. And you know, when she tells her story, when she feels up to it, she'll tell her story about what she's learned in this class. But she found her self-worth. And you know, she's learning to love herself, and it's an amazing journey. It really is an amazing journey, because nobody can give that to you except for yourself. But along the way, you're going to find things that you don't like about yourself. You're going to also find things that were placed in your pathway so that you couldn't achieve it. You know, that you're going to have to throw in the garbage and go, get out of here. I ain't listening to you or your voice anymore. Go away, you liar. You know, you're going to have to do that. You know, how many of us talk to you? Talk to yourselves. You know, usually you don't want to admit that because people say, oh, you get to see now. You know, only old people do that. Well, guess what? Each and every single one of us talks to ourselves. That's a known fact. If you're not talking to yourself, something is wrong. Something is wrong. But if it's the voice that's telling you you're no good, take him out of your house. Walk him to the trash can and say, get out. You don't belong here anymore, because he doesn't. You know, and bring in that love, bring in that joy, bring in that fulfillment. And look, if you wake up in the and you're not feeling good, honor how you feel, because that's value too. Honor it. And guess what? When you start doing that, boy, your whole life's going to change. And Pam's going to share that with us when she talks one day, okay? Because her life changed drastically, almost overnight. And the ones that were here, we got to experience that with her, you know, and see the change. But it will change you. And once you receive this information and you turn that switch on, you can never go backwards. You might want to try, but you will never be able to take that knowledge away. It's going to take you right back to where you started. And then you're going to go, oh, you know, so don't try to not hit that brick wall too often. You know, just keep going. Find that self-worth, because when you find that self-worth, you're going to take off and run like Pam. And does anybody have any questions? Because if we do not have any questions, I have one more song that I want to share with you, and then Rodney can say the closing prayer. So if anybody has
Mine isn't a question, but just a little quick story. I had an altercation with someone, and then I mean it turned into an you know, oh, I feel sorry for you, Pam. You know, this is all these things that I have been through. Can we help fix you? And I was like, hell no, I didn't fix myself. You know, and I prayed, and I felt Spirit say, step back. You know, step back and retreat to me into yourself, you know, and find the things in yourself that is going on. So I did that. Okay. And you know, and it was so hard because I'm such a people pleaser, you know, I just want to fix everybody, you know, but I'll tell you what, that was the best thing I ever did, because I stepped back and I stopped trying to please everybody. And I stopped trying to get anybody to help me, because I don't want nobody to help me at this point. I want to help myself, you know, and I can do it. I can do it. I went back and I spent a couple of days, and I was like, I used some tools that I've received here and some other places. And you know what? After 2 days, I came back and I was smiling, and I'm happy, and I'm out doing things again, and I'm not retreating, you know, and hiding or anything. But, you know, it was so freeing, you know, that I could actually say, no, you know, I don't need that.
I love you so much. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I think each and every one of us has run and hid like that at some point, you know. But we've been taught to put a fix it hat on too. You must fix this. You're a fixer. Well, you have to learn to take that fix it hat off. And see the lady that told you, can we help fix you? She had her fix it hat on too. and actually that's the way that the energy works. So if you had said yes, she would have been diverted to try to help you instead of looking at herself. And it's a continuous pattern like that. So, but because you retreated, Pam, you might have taught her some things, you know, because the way you react to things and through your walk, people learn too. So I'm very proud of you. I am. You have worked really hard, and you can see the work that you put into it. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. Self-love is so great.
Sherry,
Yes,
you had a
Sherry,
comment?
I see that you have a hand up.
Yes, good morning. Um, Let me know how the signal is.
Oh, you sound
Uh,
great.
oh, thank you. One thing I kind of want to piggyback on what Rodney was talking about and pose it as a question is where does physical, like turning the other cheek and being the higher person versus having boundaries, and because that's part of self-love is having boundaries for ourselves. Where does that come in, because if not, people then will walk all over us.
Well, that's correct. You're correct about that. When you are finding your self-worth and your value, you will make and set boundaries for yourself, okay, and for your inner child. Boundaries that you will state to yourself and to your inner child: I will not allow anybody to disrespect us or hurt us again, you know. And when that takes place, then you are responsible not to break that set boundary, So remove yourself. Like, I was brought up in abuse. And so one of my boundaries is if a person shows a threatening, there's signs, and most of people that have been abused see those signs of abusers. Remove yourself from that situation, you know. But what happened with Rodney, you know, was that guy was just mad, and he was very, he was upset because Rodney reprimanded him and told him, you can't walk off your job. You expected me to pay you, but you didn't do your job because you walked off. But what was even better than that is Rodney, because of his compassion, paid the guy the full amount, but he walked off the job and he still got coffee thrown in his face. So sometimes there's no way to prevent that, because you're going to run across people like that unless, you remove yourself from that situation.
Sorry, my dogs are in the background.
Does that make sense, Sherry, to you?
Yes, it's just there's different kinds of boundaries. There's and I think they come back to us if and they show us, okay, this is the lesson that we've had to learn again. Like growing up, I had kids that would want to jump me. And so that's why, that would be a physical boundary. And so sometimes you're like, okay, well, I can't outrun them. I'm trying to get out of this situation. But yeah, so sometimes we got to be Karate Kid, and sometimes we got to be Deli Llama.
Well, yes, but also during that time, your inner self told you what you had to do too, right? You were being bullied and there was no way to get out of it. That happened to me too. That's the most horriblest thing that you can experience, I think. Because it does mess with you. And I don't think there's really any way to prevent that. But you need to forgive yourself too, because you're still carrying that, and that happened to you a long time ago. So you're still carrying that with you. You need to release that, because that's not you now. And that won't never happen to you again. Would you allow that to happen to you again? How would you?
No.
How would you fix it so it didn't happen again?
Well, I don't take the bus home from school anymore. I drive, so there's one thing.
Yeah, so see, you have, you've, there's more value placed in your life too, if you look at it, because you have your independence, you know, and, but have you stepped out? Thank you, Julie. I hope we can see you again sometime. We really enjoy you when you're here.
Thank you. I hope I can make it. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks.
So it is, that's really a hard question, Sherry, to answer, because it is, that does have to do with how you feel about yourself and your self-worth. But the more, you know, the more you get to working on your self-worth and your value, you're gonna start learning the signs. You're gonna start feeling the energy when you walk into a place. Oh, I don't need to be here. And if you start feeling like that, you need to remove yourself, you know, because those are warning signs that some type of boundary is going to be uncrossed. Now, I'm pretty sure you have a rough time because, you know, you're dealing with an ex trying to raise 2 kids. I give you very big kudos for that, because it's very hard to raise children when the other partner is living their different life than you are. It's very hard, and you're going to have many arguments, many disagreements, especially about the children. And trust me, they never go away. The other parent does never go away. When them kids get married, you're gonna run into that parent, whether you like it or not, at their wedding. When they have children, you're gonna run into that parent because the grandparents want to see the grandkids. So you're gonna have to find an acceptance within yourself, an agreement of what you're going to allow to exist in that relationship so it doesn't hurt you, and move on, you know. And I've had to deal with it, and guess the way I did it is I moved away. I moved completely out of the state, and I don't have to see him driving down the road. I'm serious. I don't have to walk into a store and remember, oh, this is what we did when we was in the store, we bought this. Because there's lots of memories. Changing your place will help you a lot, you know. And if you leave your children, okay, this is very important, you know, your children always come back to you. Just always remember this, that sometimes they bring their whole family. Do they not, Pam? You know, you know, do the changes that will help you, and stop worrying about how it's going to affect everybody else. Because guess what? I left my kid. Yeah, she decided to live where her dad was. And that was hard. I went down there to visit her. Of course, I had to put up with him. That was very hard, but I walked through it. But guess what? Now she lives here. And the day I drove that that U-Haul out with all her stuff out of that state, I told that state, see you later, because I'm never coming back. And I won't have to go back there. But things change. So you've got to change and be happy for yourself. And whatever happens to the children is because they chose that. You didn't choose it for them. They're adults, so remember that. You know, do they have needs? Yes, but their needs are being met by your other parent, the other parent. and the other one has to just grow up. And sometimes the hard lessons come with that. But you'll always be their mom. And but you deserve to be happy. That's your self-worth. Step out in it and start enjoying life instead of worrying about it so much.
I think with this new energy shift, I've been feeling a little more sensitive lately.
Yes, I think all of us are feeling that because there is a big shift going on right now in the energy. And the more you find your value and your self-worth, Sherry, you're going to see a big difference. And because you shine already, you know, and once you step into that and get it solid within you, whew, you're going to be like a rocket exploding in the air with many lights for many other people. You know, so just understand you're growing and you're gonna make it. Is it hard? Yes, but you do have to set boundaries. And one of the hardest ones that I know that you will have to set is with your children. You know, because they're an adults. They have to, you know, if they don't choose to move with you, if you decide to move, then that's their choice. And you have to respect what they choose too. You know, so respect those boundaries that you create, but set good boundaries for yourself so it does not hurt you. And take your fix-it hat off.
Okay, thank you.
And I love you.
I love you too.
So does anybody else have any questions? I don't think so. So I have one other song that we're going to play, and then Rodney can close us out with or either you can close us out and we'll do the song after the prayer, Rodney.
Sounds good. I'll pray first and then play the song.
Okay.
Right. And thank you, Shahoan. It was a great lesson.
Thank you.
Father Sky, Mother Earth, all our ancestors, all our relatives, we call upon you at this time, and we thank you so very much for this most sacred circle you've allowed us to be part of. We thank you for your words that you speak through our sister Shahoan. We thank you for the teachings that embed deeply within our hearts. And we ask, Creator Most High, that you help us to take these words, take these lessons, and take this direction and apply it to our lives so we may walk in a good way. We ask that you help us to see our self-worth, help us to love ourselves, and help us to know that we are divine and we are blessed and we shine brightly. Help us to help that light to keep bright, 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 so others around us may find their way out of the darkness. We love you. We ask that you watch over us during this week, protect each and every one of us, guide us in a good way, and help us to walk in a way that is pleasing in your sight. We love you and we thank you. Aho. All right, I'll play this song. I can't minimize. There.
A hug is more than a hug, it's support and love. I run to you in open arms with an open heart.
I know that times are tough. When money is low, love is enough. Love is enough, love is enough.
We all have problems, but that's not an excuse. We get mad sometimes, but we don't have to abuse. We're just guests here. We only have one oath to lose, so we gotta act soon.
I regret not seeing you. Wish I could hear your voice too. I hope you're proud of what I'll do. I will sing for you. Come home with
of my night with my head down and I feel alright. I'm going crazy, speak my mind, my heart is racing. I look up at the sky, watch the stars collide, leave my problems to hide, that's darkness to light.
I'll be there for you, let's keep going. I'll bring you up when you're down. This is who I am.
I need my friends to be with me when I'm down. Turn to me and I'll be there for you.
I'm trapped in anxiety, get me out of this crowd. I feel dizzy and everything is too loud. I need to walk and breathe. If you feel the same, come walk with me.
I wanna see the world, I wanna travel through. I got nothing to lose. Trying to stay on the right path with you. My dreams are my light. Shine it bright.
Come home with love, with us. We are hopeful inside. You're never alone in the dark night. I'll be with you till the dawn of twilight. You're never alone in the dark night. I'll be with you till the dawn of twilight. Come home with love, with us. We are hopeful inside.
Beautiful. See everyone next week.
Y'all have a good week. I love y'all. See you next Tuesday.